I have been waiting for this box to show up for weeks now, so I wanted to go ahead and unbox this for you and maybe show you the first flight with it. This is the HiSky HMX 280. Now, as you can see, I can't exactly unbox it entirely because there wasn't a box. It came with a plain brown cardboard box around it that was fairly well damaged. As you can see, there's a lot of damage to the inside cardboard here, but I thought we'd just take a few minutes and go through what comes in the package here. This was just recently released, so I don't think everything is finalized yet, but this is the instruction manual for the TE3015. I would assume this is the charger, so it's not a full user manual. I see a set of landing gear. I see 2 full sets of props, one that will go on the quadcopter itself and one for spare, as well as a teeny tiny little screwdriver with what appears to be 4 screws. And I would assume that those screws are for the landing gear. Right here you have that TE3015 battery charger. It is a 15 watt, 1.2 amp charger that is used for 2S or 3S LiPo batteries. And there you have 2 plugs on the front. Here's the charging plug that came with it. Everything is kind of coated in a dust here, but there you go. Here's the transmitter for the quadcopter. This is a really large transmitter. Again, completely coated in dust. But of course you have your throttle here, yaw, pitch and roll, trim buttons, and all sorts of other buttons that I don't know what they do. So I'm gonna have to look around online and see what all of this does because, like I said, there's no manual included. And when you open the back, you'll see there are 4 AA batteries required. And finally, to wrap this up, is the quadcopter itself. And this is a beast of a thing. It is solid plastic. Cannot fault the build construction of it. On the bottom, you're supposed to be able to mount a gimbal to it, but I think it's actually a little too small for any standard gimbals, but it might be possible to stick something on here. This is the antenna, so you should be able to get pretty decent range out of it, and you're supposed to strap it to one of the landing gear. There are some plugs here. I think one's an 11.1 volt output. I don't know what all they do, and one's for GPS. You have LEDs on the end of all the arms, and there should be 2 LEDs in the front as well, what look like eyes. These very large, very nice looking HiSky motors, and we'll go ahead and open the back up and take a look at the battery very quickly. It is an 11.1 volt 1350 milliamp hour 25C battery with a JST connector to plug it in and your balance plug for charging. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a minute. I'm gonna put the landing gear on. I'm gonna put the props on. I seem to remember reading on the website that all you do to take these off is you unscrew this, you put the prop on, and then you screw it back down. It's like that. And you see there's a little teeny hole in there. You put that little screwdriver in and spin it around to thoroughly tighten the prop down on there. So let me do that and I'll be right back. And we're back just a few minutes later. I did take a little bit of time to actually balance the props just to make sure, because one of the things I didn't mention earlier is this is not a standard quadcopter. This is not your normal quad. This is kind of akin to being a little racer. On Banggood, they say that it's capable of going about 80 to 100 kilometers per hour, which is about 50 to 60 miles per hour. Although over on RC Groups, the guy that actually helped develop it says that it's nowhere near that fast, but it is still really, really fast. So I'm looking to have a lot of fun with this thing. So I've gone ahead and installed the props after doing some balancing. You can see I've got a little bit of tape on some of these. That just helps to make them wobble a lot less. I've gone ahead and put batteries in the transmitter, and I've got the battery charging at the moment. I'm not gonna let it finish charging. I just wanted to give it a little bit of charge. However, when I plugged all this up, this thing started smoking. I was kind of terrified. And actually just putting my hand on it right now, this is quite hot. It's not so hot that I can't put my hand on it, but it definitely feels like it's radiating a lot of heat. So I'm a little concerned by that. I'm guessing a lot of it has to do with the dust that had built up on it, but it's not smoking at this point. It is doing its red and green flashing that it's supposed to do when you take the battery out, and the battery itself is not hot, so I'm less concerned than I was. Let's go ahead and stick the battery in here and we'll power it on. There's not a whole lot of room in that very large battery bay, so I wouldn't expect to be able to fit much more than just this one size battery in there. And from what I've read online, the battery life isn't as good as I would really hope. I've heard that it is about in the 5 to 6 minute range. But there is it powering on. Go ahead and close all that up. You can see here in the back we have red LEDs, white LEDs on the front arms, and then sort of a whitish blue LEDs in the very front. So we'll go ahead and set this down, give it just a second. And now that it's sat there for just a minute, let me go ahead and power the transmitter on. Got some very interesting little setup there. Now, as you can see here, we do have this green LED that's flashing on the inside. That means it's ready to go. So I should be able to turn this on. That LED stops flashing and becomes solid. And now I have to unlock the props, and this is where it becomes a little scary. I push both sticks to the bottom center, just like that for a second, and it should unlock them. And now we're ready to go. Now it becomes dangerous. And I'm just barely touching the throttle there. And it's getting ready to take off, just the teeniest, tiniest bit of throttle there. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and take it outside if I wanna do anything more. There we go. And now we'll unlock it. and it's ready to take off, and I haven't even touched it. I think I have it in a low rate, so I'm going to try it out on that, and then I'll switch it over to 1 here in a minute. That should make the switch between the 2 rates. So let's just get started. So there you go. We're now flying. So let's do a yaw. Very fast yaw rate. Look at that. Let's try the number 1 rate. Okay, so 1 is the beginner rate. That's good to know. And actually, I'm just kind of curious to plan for a second. Alright, I want to see the throttle punch. I want to see what happens. So I am still in beginner rates. Wow. That thing just takes off. Let's do a circuit. And that is way out there. Yeah, this area is not going to be big enough to fly this in. It has so much power. Little breeze coming through. This thing ain't going to be stopped. Yeah, I'm in beginner rates, and that's the kind of pitch you get. Look at that. Yeah, I'm getting way too out of control here, so this thing is terrifying. I'm gonna have to take it out to the soccer field now, but let's see what it does in high rate. Wow. Yeah, it just absolutely takes off. And there's your pitch. That's high rate pitch. And then low rate pitch. Low rate pitch is a little less steep, but it is still very, very steep. I don't think there's a flip button. You can do manual, and you can disable the gyro with this, so, you know, now I'm gyroless, which I don't want to be. I'd much rather be with gyro. There we go, safely landed. Go ahead and disarm the blades again so they don't get me. Now I can use this and it's not gonna, yeah. So that is I think a good first look at it. This is definitely not even coming close to showing what it's capable of doing. It has a ridiculous amount of power, massive controller to work with it, 2 different rates, idle mode, throttle hold, so you can just hold it in the air. Just an absolute bundle of features and a bundle of fun. So much power. And it's only about $166 over on Banggood, so you absolutely ought to take a look at this if you're looking to make the step up from toys into something a little bit more serious in terms of having fun and racing and flying around super fast. This is definitely a next good step. Look forward to more videos out of this. I'll probably do a full video just taking it over to the soccer field and flying it around for a little while. Thanks so much to Banggood for sending this out. Absolutely go check it out over there. Thumbs up down below the video if you like this video. Thumbs up if you like this quad, because this thing is just a masterpiece. And I will see you again next time.